What's going on, peeps? All right, look, there's a lot to go over. A lot has happened considering this is supposed to be the Friday, Saturday of Iraq. There's a lot of news coming out. But first thing I want to ask you guys is Trump hinting at when the rate change will happen? Have you guys seen it in the news? Maybe you have. Maybe it means nothing. But I do think it's very interesting. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Okay, real quick here, hey guys. Oh, you thought I was going to do that, huh? Anyways, a quick reminder, I do have a Facebook group with the same name as the YouTube channel. I will leave a link in the description. Come join us in there. We talk about all kinds of things when it comes to investments. I also have a link in there for you people who like conspiracies, Jacera and Nasera. Come on over here. You can see it is political, so you got to have tough skins, but just be respectful for one another. Now let's get into the news. All right, look, this is not surprising. So the World Bank is saying that there is going to be increased poverty levels in Iraq by 8%, but it's not just in Iraq. Okay, there's a lot of places around the world they're going to be hit pretty hard. It's going on to explain how the Rona caused all kinds of problems for people around the world. There's a huge part of me that feels like this was actually planned. It could have been avoided. But nonetheless, it goes on to name other countries: Lebanon, Iraq, Algeria, Iran, Jordan, Morocco, Tanzania, Egypt. Of course, but it's not just there in the Middle East, all right? We're going to see all kinds of places, Africa, all these poor nations that were struggling already. This is why you've seen that during a meeting with the G20 summit meeting, as well as the meeting with the World Bank and the IMF, we're talking about doing some level or completely across the board a debt relief program where they just, look, countries owe other countries a ton of money for one reason or another. But I like when Trump keeps saying, look, we need to be on a level playing field. Over time, these last few decades, the more powerful countries, including ours, took advantage of the power, took advantage of the persuasion and influence that we had over other nations. All right. And it caused a lot of poverty around the world. You know, capitalism actually works really good. It's actually end a lot of poverty. But what I'm talking about is when you abuse the power and purposely force people into bad situations for all the wrong reasons. All right. That's not good. If you let capitalism in its purest form do what it's supposed to do naturally, everybody benefits. So having said that, in order for us to all be on a level playing field, I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this. They just need to say, you know what? Let's be on a level playing field, free trade agreements for everything we want to do, and just get rid of the debt. I know people are like, no, it's impossible. No, it's actually not impossible. Just do it. That and increased exchange rate, all right? Let's move on. Anyway, so this article is pretty long as usual. I'll leave a link to all the things I talk about, and you guys can come through here and read them and read for yourself and come up with your own opinions. Okay, disrupting all government institutions and including health. Okay, so I'm not sure what this article is really saying. This is a higher health and safety committee decided to suspend all government institutions, excludes health security agencies and service departments, including electricity, municipalities, and Baghdad's municipalities, agriculture, water resources. Not sure where they're going with this. Okay, so Baghdad has submitted a request to the Prime Minister of Finance for operating projects. So basically this letter is just saying, hey, do us a favor, give us the funds we need to first complete the projects that we have and stop adding new projects on there that make sense. So, you know, some of the things are, you know, a 200-bed hospital. There's more than that. There's look at these projects include several hospitals that are needed. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with this. Look, why add more if you haven't completed what you already started? So it's not a really impacting article. But let's get into here. We know that the Supreme Committee decided to impose a curfew, but did not say why, which is really weird. So there's going to be a one-work curfew that's starting on May 31st, and it's going to last for a week. But it doesn't say why the curfew has been implemented. Looky here. parliamentary finance. Al-Kadhimi has the power to cancel the currency auctions. Say what? That's right. Look at this. Members of the Parliament Finance Committee confirms on Saturday the Prime Minister Kadhimi owns the power to cancel the foreign currency auctions at the central bank. There are a lot of things going on. Now, look, I've had some people from Iraq post comments in my videos, on my videos, and one of them was posted on the video I did about water. I want to thank him for saying so. But somebody said, is it true that, they are doing away with the people who are the Iranian influence? And he made a comment that was interesting. He said, well, no, the parliament is made up of a majority of people who are influenced by Iran. Now, having said that, this might be why we're seeing Al-Kadhimi and the president decide to just go ahead and dissolve the parliament. They absolutely need to get out of the thumb, out of the grip, out of the influence of Iran. All right, so that might be one of the steps they're going to take, is just go ahead and dissolve the parliament. All right, and in addition to that, it looks like he has the power. So the prime minister has the power to cancel and stop the auctions of foreign currencies in the central bank. He added the matter provided that it is attached to a study and documents proving the existence of money laundering operations or corruption operations occurring during the sales operations, stressing the need for the government and the central bank to control the exchange rate of the dollar against the Iraqi dinar in the Iraqi markets. Okay, so one of the reasons why the currency auction goes is because Iraq benefits from it. Iran benefits from the currency auctions, and so there is a lot of money laundering going in, and it also breaks. Actually, is a loophole that they use in an effort to bypass the sanctions that are put on them. So it looks like Kadhimi is going to stop one of those money flows of Iran. Often deputies from various blocs and components talk about the existence of major corruption operations that take place at all the auction currency sales by banks and personalities accused of money laundering operations. Members of the mini parliament committee concerned with following up with the implementation of the budgets said about the existence or about the exit of currency auctions from the control of the central bank, while they later sold $150 to $200 million daily. Okay, so look, one of the ways we could get out of the influence of Iran is to get them out of there, stop the currency auctions. So anyways, the price statement says there are problems and violations recorded on the sales of the currency by the central bank, as well as the currency exchange rate, which is often mobile and unstable in most cases, noting that any candidate for the position of government has to sit with the parliament finance to discuss these two things. So here we go. Drain the swamp. Let's go ahead and arrest the corrupt, get them out of there. Let's do an audit. All right. Let's stop the auctions so we can stop funding Iran, as well as let's get the currency, the Iraqi dinar exchange rate stable. So you see, there are a lot of things out there that are causing the instability of the Iraqi dinar rate change. And it seems to me, call me crazy, but they seem to be making a lot of moves to do what it takes to be stable economically, especially when it comes to the exchange rate, right? So in this article right here, it says the Security Council extends the mandate of the United Nations Assistant Mission to Iraq. So basically, it's extended for another year. So it's going to go all the way to May 31st, 2021. So basically, all they're going to do is sit there and advise, supervise, and assist in anything that needs to be done in Iraq to get them going, hit the ground running. All right, so this is good. This is not a bad thing. Again, we need them to just go ahead and take the currency, the Iraqi dinar, out of Article 7 bankruptcy. That's what we really need them to do, and let them start dealing on a more international basis. Okay, so they're going to be there to support them, providing advice, support, assistance. Okay, the government of the people of Iraq, promoting comprehensive and political dialogue and national and community reconciliation. Right, that seems to be happening, man. There's a lot of people that had sour relations. Al-Kadhimi is actually reaching out to you, man, and trying to squash things. All right, so this is a good move, man. Okay, so I like the fact that the United Nations will be out there for another year. This, again, is just a replica of the article we talked about yesterday. So Kuwait did indeed forgive a big part of the debt that's owed to them and then is postponing payments to them. So that's just a confirmation. So here is the American newspaper. That is the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so this is good. So what they're saying is this. America and Iran stand quietly behind al-Qademi, who's tasked to balance them out. Okay, so in other words, he's got to make sure that the Americans and Iran stop using Iraq as a battleground. So that's what this article is about. The American Wall Street Journal considered the task of the Iraq Prime Minister al-Qademi lies in balancing between two opposing powers, of course, Iraq and Iran. Iran and the United States. So basically what he's saying is, look, he has to find a balance between them. Iran saying that the protesters are there because they were placed there by the American CIA. And then the other group of protesters, Americans, are saying they're being put there by Iran. But the Iraqi people are like, look, stay out of our country, stay out of our business. And it's happening. This is really interesting because Qademi has the support of both Iran and Iraq. Very, very interesting. So, days later, in a clear step to reassure the parliamentary groups, Iranian-backed visited its headquarters and praised its role in the war against ISIS. Okay, so yeah, that's right. America and Iran teamed up to fight ISIS, believe it or not. Okay, so so things are looking really good with al-Qademi. These articles go on and get in more detail, but the point being this: Qademi seems to be supported by the international community abroad, and that includes opposing people. Qademi knows what he wants and knows what he needs for the Iraqi people. I believe he's going to get it. I believe these next couple of weeks, especially this next week for us, I think is going to be really big. Now, people keep asking me, do you think Trump is going to pull the trigger on a rate change before the election? Well, yeah. That would make sense to me. With everything that's going on, if you wanted to become a shoo-in, if Trump wanted to win in a landslide, he would pull the trigger on a rate change. So will he? Will Trump pull the trigger on a rate change? Well, let's hear what Trump has to say.
Today, one of your top economic advisors, he said that the U.S. is likely to experience a 20 to 30% decline in the GDP in the second quarter, the worst since the Great Depression. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know, but I can tell you the third and the fourth quarter in particular are going to be, I think, spectacular.
Gee, really? Why is that, Trump? Why do you think the third and the fourth quarter? What would be the reason for him to think that? We're not even out of quarantine fully yet. We're slowly. He's got resistance from the Democrats. The liberals are keeping their states and cities on lockdown. Little by little, they're opening it. So what makes him think there's going to be a huge recovery? He knows something that the rest of the people don't know. Or does he? Or do we know what Trump knows? Does Trump know what we want? So let me ask you this. I'm going to put it out there for you to think about. If you were Trump and this quarantine just killed the best economy in recorded history with the lowest numbers of unemployment ever seen for people across the board, and you need to kickstart your country, you need to kickstart its economy. But here's the other kicker. Let me add in something. You see, part of that economical boom means you have to be able to start doing business and trade with other countries. So it can't just be our country kicking butt. In order for us to really have a booming economy again, that means other countries have to be kicking butt too. So what kind of idea, what kind of move can Trump make that wouldn't just kickstart the economy here in the United States? But kickstart economies around the world. How many dinar holders do you think are worldwide? how many Vietnam Dong holders are worldwide? Do you see where I'm going with this? You can have people out there and they make great logical arguments for why these currencies cannot be revalued at the rates that we are anticipating them to be at. And I get it. When I first did this, I did the same thing. I was applying logic to this. I'm applying the gold that these people have, the amount of currency. I did all the right things, the amount of currency, and said, man, how's this going to happen? But then I realized, if you're in this situation that we're in right now around the world, think about this. If we're in this situation, you're going to have to throw logic out the door. You're just going to have to make a move. And what is that move? Go ahead and do the global currency reset. Reset the currencies at their proper value. Reinstate Iraq's currency rate. All right? That's what I would do if I was Trump. Now, mind you, Trump has a lot more information and a ton of advisors that know a million things more than we all do. But the point being, if we're just generally speaking, the whole world's economy needs kickstart. In order for us to really have a booming economy here in the United States, we're going to have to rely on other countries as well to help us do that. We need to manufacture things, produce things, and export them. We also need to import goods as well. All right, so that means everybody has to start off at a level playing field. And how do you make that happen? Change the rate. What did Trump say? Shall we take a listen-y poo one more time? Let's do it.
Assessment?
I don't know, but I can tell you the third and the fourth quarter in particular are going to be, I think, spectacular. We were talking about it with the executives. I think we're going to have a phenomenal third quarter. Nobody, except one country can be held accountable for what happened. Nobody's blaming anybody here. We're looking at a group of people that should have stopped it at the source. But so what happens in second happens in second. What we are doing is, I think you're going to see a big rise in the third, but you're going to see an incredible fourth quarter, and you're going to have an incredible next year.
Yes, we are, my friends. Yes, we are. Why is the third quarter going to be slow? Because as the rate change and we're doing our exchanging, the economy is only starting to rebound. The true numbers will pop out in the fourth quarter as more and more people go out and shop and buy and do what they need to do. Do the pee-pee dance. Do the pee-pee dance. All right, you guys. Why would Trump think the third and fourth quarters? What does he know? Given everything that's going on right now, how can he have these types of expectations? I'm with you, Trump, and we all agree with you. We know a way that can make sure that the third and fourth quarters, as well as next year, are booming. Change the rate. All right, you guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because it keeps the channel free, and I'm surely appreciative of it. All right, you guys, have a good one.